Could there be more foreshadowing and hints behind a recent Bray Wyatt moment? We'll take a look at the likelihood of a return from The Fiend and Bray's master plan. Let's start things off with another Bray Wyatt theory. One of the best parts about Bray Wyatt's character is all the mystery that's constantly surrounding him, that just leads you down this rabbit hole of different theories and possibilities. So let's dive back into one of these smaller Bray Wyatt moments that could potentially turn into something much bigger down the line. Let's go back to the moment of Bray Wyatt being seen in the background of Karrion Kross's conversation with the Usos. Of course, the story focus was on Karrion Kross and the Usos, with Bray Wyatt being nothing more than a quick cameo in this very moment, but it still added a lot to Bray's story in only a couple of seconds. Usually when a segment ends and the superstars go to the back, the story is done until the following week. But this quick cameo appearance from Bray Wyatt did really such a great job of painting what the world is like for this character backstage after the segment is over. His segment ends, the show is moving along, but to see the character visually upset and still battling his own thoughts was such a nice little touch. And it obviously turned out to be foreshadowing and set up for Uncle Howdy taking out LA Knight. So they told a mini story there with Bray Wyatt without really speaking a single word. We see him in the background. He's pacing back and forth, pacing in circles, leaning on things, hands on his head, just giving us every single body language clue that he's going through something right now in his mind. We saw Bray act this same exact way a few weeks ago when he was interrupted by the WWE producer. Bray flipped out and demanded a sincere apology from the producer because he was about to flip out and attack him. So Bray sent him away and then acted similar to how he acted in the background of the Karrion Kross and the Uso segment. So when we saw Bray acting like that backstage, it's because he's right in the middle of making a critical decision. Does he take that brutal and physical route, or does he take the high road and just let the incident die down? Well, Bray took the high road with the producer and decided to let him go freely. But he didn't do the same for LA Knight. Bray's decision for LA Knight was to go ahead and approve the attack on him. That's exactly what we saw. But fans are wondering if there's a deeper hidden meaning behind Bray's cameo appearance in that segment. The Usos are obviously a connection to Roman Reigns. We saw Bray Wyatt and Howdy acknowledge the past with Alexa Bliss by showing that the logo was watching her. But someone that Bray has also unfinished business with is Roman Reigns. Bray was supposed to be the first opponent for Roman way back in summer 2020. That was going to be Roman's first title defense as Universal Champion. The story legitimately kicked off on WWE television by Bray Wyatt introducing a Paul Heyman puppet and other little things such as Alexa Bliss staring down Roman Reigns while she was possessed by the Fiend. So it seemed like they were gearing up strong for that story. But it was suddenly dropped, and Bray Wyatt ended up being drafted over to Raw, while Roman remained on Smackdown. Bray would end up feuding with Randy Orton from late 2020 all the way to his last match at WrestleMania 37, never crossing paths with Roman Reigns again. So current day SmackDown is the first time since summer of 2020 that both Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt have been on the same brand's roster. So fans feel like it's only a matter of time before Bray Wyatt embraces his bad thoughts again and comes after Roman. And the other individuals in this shot was, of course, Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Bray and Kross have no actual in-ring history with each other, but there's been mystique, fan buzz, and other theories that have been tying them together for a while now. When Karrion Kross returned to WWE in August, Bray Wyatt was one of the first people to leave a like on WWE's tweet about his return. Then Kross has stated in many interviews that it would be an honor to work with Bray Wyatt. And then in the very first White Rabbit teaser, we saw an hourglass inside of a red circle. And that made fans freak out because it seemed like a perfect potential hint for a Bray Wyatt and Karrion Kross collaboration. The red circle is a symbol that represents Bray Wyatt, and the hourglass is a symbol that represents Karrion Kross. So a partnership between Kross and Wyatt actually seemed possible from that teaser. And then you fast forward to Bray Wyatt's first conversation with LA Knight. And what was he trying to do? Well, it sounded like Bray was trying to recruit LA Knight during the opening moments of their first conversation together. Bray was calling him a friend, relating to him, talking about respect. But obviously Bray's pitch didn't work, and LA Knight has become a foe rather than a friend. But Bray's initial pitch to LA Knight was interesting. Was Bray considering the idea of going up to several superstars and trying to form partnerships with them? If that was Bray's initial plan, then Karrion Kross and Scarlett have to be on the list of potential partners. Maybe if Bray was giving that similar pitch to Kross and Scarlett, maybe they would have been interested in partnering up. Kross and Scarlett appear to match Bray's energy as a character, so they would make for perfect partners if he is in fact trying to build a little army. Maybe Bray's big long-term goal is to build this army and go after Roman Reigns and the Bloodline with it. Bray's smart, he's observant. Maybe he's seeing all these challengers fall to Roman because it's always 5-on-1. So what if Bray does step to Roman with his reinforcements to cancel out the other Bloodline members and balance out the odds? Well, then he'll have a fair shot of getting that revenge on Roman without anyone interfering. So, is there a massive big plan like that behind this Bray Wyatt cameo with Karrion Kross and the Usos? Another thing fans are discussing is the likelihood of the Fiend returning. The Fiend mask was seen at Extreme Rules, and the Fiend himself was only referenced one time by Uncle Howdy. Howdy revealed that Bray Wyatt sent the Fiend away following the events of 2021, a decision that Howdy was extremely furious with. And then in the weeks that followed, Bray Wyatt explained why he stopped wearing the mask. Bray said that despite all the strength and other abilities it gave him, it ultimately ruined everything around him, so that's why he got rid of it. That's when Howdy responded by tempting Wyatt to just put the mask back on again, hurt people, and never take it off. And since Howdy has made that argument to Bray Wyatt, Bray has been getting closer and closer to breaking because of the recent events with LA Knight. And like we saw during that attack on LA Knight, the mask was back on somebody. Maybe that was Bray, maybe it was Howdy himself. But someone in the Wyatt universe had the mask back on. So if Bray does give in to the temptation, will he bring back the actual mask of the Fiend? It seems a little unlikely because when Bray Wyatt evolves, he usually doesn't take much of his previous self into the next character. Just like what we saw when he transitioned from Buzzard's Bray to Funhouse Bray, and now Funhouse Bray to this new Uncle Howdy era. Nothing really transitions over in between the personas. So we're probably not going to see the Fiend mask return itself. That character and chapter is most likely finished. But if Bray does wear a mask again, like Howdy has been pressuring him to, it'll probably be the new mask that will take over for that Fiend-like role for Bray Wyatt. But what are your thoughts on all of today's stories with Bray Wyatt? Do you think he has a much bigger plan that he's working on that we don't know about yet? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.